Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday, and welcome back to the digital edition of NHL Now. We're super excited to be joined today by Devan Dubnyk, who has his hands full. I mean, you got 3 kids at home. We've seen the videos on Instagram. I assume you are not bored, at least, during quarantine.
No, not at all. It's just a different scenario. I've found some new rooms and crevices in my house that I can hide in. I think I've exposed them all, but I got a lot of places to hide.
Well, you're too big to be hiding too many places, so that's the first problem. But give me the rundown on the kids, the ages, the names. So give us the whole background.
So I got 3 boys, Nate, Parker, and Dawson. They're 6.5, 6.5, 4.5, and 2.5. And
right.
they like to fight. They all like play well together one-on-one, but the 3 of them together is just madness. They all have their own relationships, but
I bet. I referenced one of the videos we saw. I believe it was on your Instagram account, and they were all just zipping around in the background on different things. What were those toys? Because one of them, it looked like, was sitting down on something and was just like flying around.
Yeah, I think it's called a Night Hawk or something, and we got those. They were Christmas presents, and they love them. They zipper. I don't know how I didn't end up with a sprained ankle or a broken ankle, for that matter, during that video that I was trying to shoot. But yeah, I mean, fortunately, we got the sport court down there, and they'll go. That's what they do. It's just, I mean, Nate's on his hoverboard playing hockey, and there's the other ones are ripping around. I don't know how they don't run into each other more, but they actually are decent at avoiding each other.
Kids have a way about finding a way to miss each other somehow. I don't know how it is, but it happens. I want to ask you how we're talking about family time. Obviously, we're all in this kind of quarantine situation together. You were dealing with a lot of really serious issues with your wife, Jennifer, earlier in the year. It seems like she's on the mend. How is everything going there? We're just so happy to hear that things are moving in the right direction, because you have a lot of fans out there, Devan, and we covered you for many years. We love having you on, and we were concerned as well. How's everything going?
Very, very good. Yeah. Everything that we've got, follow-ups and all that has been very, very positive. And so everything is completely back to normal here. So it was nice. It was nice at the start to kind of, when this pause first started, the first week or so was nice to be home and kind of get back to a normal routine. She was recovering well, and then certainly want to be back playing now, but it's nice to be home and just get back to the way things were. It's just been such a crazy year, but just very thankful that she's back healthy and strong, and all is good.
And we're happy to hear that too. It's quality family time that's the one silver lining, I think, for a lot of people in all this, is that we're getting to spend a lot of quality time with our loved ones. I wanted to ask you about some of these hypothetical scenarios that are being thrown around right now in terms of the return to play, because you're on a lot of these calls as part of the Players Association. You're a players rep. What are those calls like to be on? I mean, they're weekly, right?
Yeah, usually weekly. Potentially more if something were to pop up. Right now, it's kind of week to week. I've been doing this for a long time. I was a rep in Edmonton during the lockout, so I'm used to the weekly or twice a week calls. So I don't mind. I mean, I've learned so much, and it's interesting to sit in on. And you hear talking to the divisional player reps, you get the information. But I think the best thing about the call being on is just hearing other guys. You know what you think and kind of how your team feels, but I think it's really important to just hear kind of how everybody in the league feels and get a grasp on what guys are concerned about or different ideas. And I always find it interesting to be on the calls.
It's funny, Devan. A lot of people ask me. I'm sure they ask Jackie. I know they ask you about what the possibilities are for playing. And Jackie just mentioned you have a special circumstance as a player rep, but it seems like there's a lot of hurdles. And that's the way I describe it to people. There's a lot of hurdles that we have to get over, and there's a lot of unknown. I mean, is that the way to look at it right now, is that we'd like to get back playing, we're hoping to get back playing, but there are a lot of hurdles?
Yes, that's exactly it. I think that all we can do right now is just constantly talk. And I mean, it changes so quickly week to week that all you can do is come up with kind of the best potential solution kind of as is right now. But it just changes. So all you can do is continue to talk. But I mean, it seems to be getting better now. Things seem to be opening up, and that certainly sheds a bit more light on the potential of reopening. But like you said, there's just a lot of hurdles. It seemed like for a bit when we first started talking about coming back, it was like, you know, every half solution we came up with opened up 5 new problems that we had to deal with. So it's just difficult, and then it's difficult to talk about too, because there's just no way of knowing. So it's been very positive, the communication back and forth with the NHL and the NHLPA, constantly talking and coming up with different scenarios. And those scenarios change, like I said, week to week as we see things open up or not open up. All you can do is just prepare the best you can and keep your fingers crossed, and hopefully we play, and you just never know.
Yeah, it's a layered issue, to say the least. And with those hurdles come a lot of ideas. I'm curious to get your thoughts. There's been, you know, not just the NHL, but numerous leagues talking about the potential for artificial crowd noise, which I find super interesting and weird. You know, as a goaltender, like, what are your thoughts on the idea? Or even just like as a fan of sports, if you're watching at home, hearing like fake crowd noise as something that could be done.
So were they talking about doing that like in the building or just on TV?
I think on TV.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I guess that'd be better for the viewers. Yeah, I heard a potential with the NFL about doing virtual fans as well. So when you're watching on TV, it looked like the stadium was full with the crowd noise.
Yeah.
I mean, completely bananas to even wrap your head. I mean, I guess watching TV, that would be more exciting, but it'd be funny to see, like, then you have the players in an empty 100,000 seat stadium in Dallas or something playing a game, and it's dead silent for them, and we're all pretending like I'm sure we get some pretty interesting audio clips with empty stadiums and noise echoing like it would. I'm sure we'd get some uncensored. They could probably charge actually for the uncensored version.
That's a good point, because, you know, we always talked about how, man, I wish we could have players mic'd up all the time and like really hear like what's going on the ice, and we might get that in this situation.
Yeah, we might also get a lot of guys in a bit of hot water too. I don't know. There might actually be zero talking if guys are mic'd up. It's like everyone can hear what you say. There's just complete silence on the ice.
Well, I would say this. There'll be a few guys that won't mind. They'll talk anyway.
Yeah,
That's the nature of it. How about your relationship with your teammates? I mean, you are the player rep, so you probably have to keep them informed. You got probably a number of guys in your team that are in the same circumstance as you, that have a couple of kids and are dealing with that. Is there any commiseration among teammates and fellow fathers and parents to try to get through this?
Yeah, we got a group text with the entire team, so there's always jokes flying and memes going through the group and whatnot, and it's an easy way for me to communicate. You know, I would just tell the guys, I'll give them updates as they go, but make sure to text or to call if you want to have a one-on-one conversation with a little bit more detail. But we're a pretty tight group, you know, especially we grew super tight here over the last little while when we went on this run, and that's been, you know, obviously the most disappointing part of it shutting down, is we just felt like we had something special going. So, you know, having that group text is nice to kind of keep in touch with everybody.
Yeah, try to keep that momentum going. We're running out of time here, but I got to ask you a question that we ask everybody on this show, because that's what we talk about in quarantine is like, what are you watching? What are you reading? I mean, what is Devin Dubnyk when you're not, you know, carrying your kids around and making sure they don't hurt themselves? What are you doing as a hobby right now?
Hiding is one. Like I said, I've become very good at hiding throughout the day at different points. No, so shows wise, I just started the Michael Jordan documentary last night, which is a little embarrassing because I'm a little late on it. But one show that Jen and I watched just recently on Hulu is called Dave. That was very, very entertaining. And it was 10 episodes that we ripped through, and it was one of the funnier shows that I've ever watched. So we powered through that one. It's very, very good.
Ever watched? What was it called again? Sorry.
It's called Dave. So I don't know if you've ever heard of he's a rapper named Lil Dicky. And,
I've heard of Lil Dicky before.
Yes, so it's his show, and he's the main character. He's like in the show as the main character, and it basically is explaining his how he became who he is, but it's just the humor is like, I love funny shows, but I usually don't laugh out loud. And I mean, I was like howling the entire time.
All right.
Yeah.
All
It's
right,
worth
Check that out.
Is that Netflix or?
That's on Hulu. It's on, yeah, it's on
Hulu.
FX.
Hulu,
So you
okay.
can get on Hulu. Yeah.
Okay,
Definitely worth a
great.
watch.
I'm gonna have to
You'll
check
get-
that out.
Yeah, you'll
I
get hooked
know.
right from the first episode. It's good.
Okay.
All right, awesome. Well, listen, we appreciate the time so much. Hopefully, we're going to see you back on the ice
Yep.
sooner rather than later. But we'll let you go. We'll let you find a nice hiding place right now while the kids are with your wife, letting you do the interview. You have time right now to go hide. So
Yeah.
good luck, and hopefully we'll
Yeah.
see you soon. Thank you for this.
Yeah, thank you. Usually after these Zoom calls, I just keep it going, and I'm like, yeah, I'm still on the call. 30 minutes later, yeah, just wrapping up here.
Yeah, well played. Well played. Thanks, Devin.
All right, thanks, guys. Good seeing you.